and 5 walks in. Now it's the sophomore's turn as Kelsey O, who's coming off an ankle injury, will try to find her groove once again.
Kelsey O, definitely glad to have her back. I'm sure the Gamecocks are saying she's going to throw in that mid to upper 60s range. She's going to mix high in the zone. Her go-to, I think, is her rise ball. She does throw a curve and a screw, but it's her changeup that really makes her deadly.
She's in the circle after an ankle injury early in the season that kept her out for about a month or so, and she's just kind of getting back into things now. You look at the lineup for Bryant here in Game 2. First ever meeting between these two schools happened earlier today, which again the Gamecocks won 7-0. Here's Toni Camarillo to lead things off. Freshman draws the infield in. And the first pitch from O, over but low, and we're underway here in Game 2. Camarillo, another California native, 1 for 4, had one of the 2 hits for the Bulldogs in Game 1. Takes a strike here, 1-1.
Brad, you mentioned how long Kelsey O has been out with that nagging ankle injury, and she's just trying to work the kinks back out. So you get the season started, then you go right into an injury, and it's almost like you're starting over a little bit.
Jana Johns, the third baseman, has to hurry, and Camarillo, just as she did in Game 1, starts it off with an infield single. Jana Johns makes a good play, a good break, but just couldn't quite get enough on it, thrown across her body.
Camarillo, 1, she has speed, but 2, where she slapped the ball just in front of home plate, and it kind of deadened right there, made it a tough play for Jana Johns.
So runner aboard for Morgan Powell, the left fielder. Gamecocks in at the corners. Takes one up high. Powell 0 for 1 with a sacrifice in that first game. Bulldogs top hitter at 306. Taken for a strike. Gamecocks in search of their 20th win in the season, coming in at 19-5. Bryant struggling at 1-16. If you're just joining us, the Bulldogs starting the season 28 consecutive games away from home. Squares the bunt, pulls back, and pushed through it. Ball and 2 strikes.
That's just crazy to me to think about playing on the road that long. Now, granted, I'm old and don't like to travel and stuff anymore, but still, when you just think about what you have to do as an athlete and preparation, that's a long time.
1-2 pitch to short. Mcguire flips to Bosal for 1, and they'll get the leading lady for the first out. The Gamecocks defensively, the left side of the infield, and Bosal, the same as the first game. Katie Preble playing first base here in Game 2, and Fabian is the catcher here in Game 2. It's a little different there. The outfield, Stewart once again in center. Clark as always in left. Carly Heath, who is the starting pitcher in Game 1. She is the right fielder here in Game 2. Mariana Politis checks in and takes a strike from Kelsey O. Politis 0 for 1 with a walk in the first game today. Fouled straight back, and Kelsey O way ahead. O had a tremendous freshman season last year, went 14-5 with an earned run average under 2. Named to the SEC All-Freshman team. Last year, 135 strikeouts against just 49 walks. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and she gets her first punch out here, second out in the inning.
And that was a nice look at Kelsey O's curveball. Now she's ahead in the count here, so she's going to start that pitch. It was already off the plate, but just looks so good on that middle plane. And you talk about Kelsey O and what she's brought to the South Carolina staff, particularly last season, and she really started to come on kind of that mid to late part of the season, which was clutch. I mean, as a coach, that's when you want your athletes to peak, especially as a pitcher. And she was a large part of the reason why they were able to make it to Super Regionals, because of her ability to bring, just taking those innings away from Kayla Drotar and Dixie Rayleigh.
Gianna Ceccarelli, the sophomore, at the plate now. A ball and a strike to the designated player. Ceccarelli 0 for 2 with a walk in the first game earlier today. Ceccarelli, second team all-conference selection a year ago. Kelsey O trying to work around a leadoff infield single. She's retired the next two. And way ahead here, a ball and 2 strikes to Ceccarelli. Powell at first with 2 down, the 1-2 again. Ceccarelli from Claremont, California. They've got a lot of California natives that made their way to Rhode Island at Bryant University. Got her swinging, second straight strikeout for Kelsey O. Nothing doing for the Bulldogs in their half of the first. Gamecocks coming to bat. No scores. The Gamecocks come up for their first set of swings here in Game 2 against the Bryant University Bulldogs. Then the Gamecocks will, after today, travel to Arkansas to pick up SEC play for 3 games this weekend. In the circle, right-hander Sarah McKevney. She's a sophomore, making her 8th appearance and her 7th start. You see her numbers on the season. Obviously, she'd like to flip that strikeout to walk ratio. Gamecocks will lead off with the shortstop, Kenzie Mcguire. A real change in the top half of their lineup for the Gamecocks offensively here in Game 2. McGuire 1 for 4 with a solo home run in Game 1 earlier today. That was her 4th long ball of the year. First pitch low and in, and we're underway.
McGuire's coming off a nice first game today for her. Made some very nice contact on the ball, and I think facing McKevney now, just looking at her stats, it's going to be important for the South Carolina hitters to stay patient, make McKevney throw a lot of pitches. And for McKevney, she's going to have to really try to tighten up, hit her spots.
25 walks and 29 in the 3rd innings coming into today. 2-1 to Kenzie Mcguire. Mcguire's come a long way. She was always good defensively. Had a good freshman year. Was hurt her 2nd year. Earned a red shirt. And then the bat the last 2 seasons has really come along. Hitting .360 coming into this game. Fouls that one off the fists. Gamecocks won the first game of this doubleheader 7-0. Powered by 4 home runs. 2-2 pitch. Too far inside, runs the count full. And you notice Mcguire didn't even flinch at that pitch inside. She is South Carolina's all-time leader. Career hit by pitch, 47.
And she has trained herself to not move, like you said. When a pitch comes inside, she does not flinch.
Earns a walk here, and the Gamecocks get the leadoff aboard. And it brings up Lauren Stewart. Stewart, the junior, has been swinging a hot bat.
you know, just kind of talking about that hit by pitch again for a hot second. As a coach and as a pitcher, I can appreciate the way that Kenzie Mcguire takes those pitches, because a lot of times you'll see hitters try to move into the pitch and they usually get the call, especially if the ball's in the batter's box. That's their right to be there and they're going to get the call. But it is very frustrating when you see hitters move into a pitch intentionally to get hit. So I like the fact that Kenzie Mcguire just stands there. She doesn't necessarily get out of the way, which is fine, but she also doesn't make an intentional effort to dive into the ball.
Stewart, as you saw, hitting .377 for the Gamecocks. 2 for 4 with a solo home run in Game 1 earlier today. Scored a pair of runs as well. Mcguire at first with nobody out. Mckenna goes back to work and again misses inside. She falls way behind. And again, that walk to Mcguire, the 26th free pass in 29 1/3 innings of work. Got the inside corner there. Stewart taking all the way. Gamecocks trying to build a little momentum before they hit the road for 3 at Arkansas this weekend after a tough start to SEC play. They were swept here at home by Kentucky this past weekend. Came in on the fists and Stewart fouled it off, so Mckenna has battled back to run the count full. Stewart getting some time to walk that off, got a piece of it. She fouled it off herself. Payoff pitch on the way to Lauren Stewart. We'll do it again. Stewart, as we told you, started her career at Purdue, spent 1 year there, and transferred to South Carolina. Was injured all of last year. Fouled straight back. Good battle here between Mckenna and Lauren Stewart.
Coach Smith has talked quite a bit about how she has been so very pleased with Lauren Stewart and her performance this season. I mean, first you're talking about someone that transferred in and then having to come off of an injury. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to get and how the athlete will bounce back, and Lauren Stewart has worked hard and definitely earned a spot in this lineup.
8th pitch of the at-bat is a little painful one again. The second time this at-bat, Stewart fouled it off herself, and she's going to take a long walk off the third baseline, as twice she has fouled it off her leg, it looked like. That one smarts a little bit.
Yeah, at this point, not only does it hurt, but it becomes irritating because you keep hitting yourself. Have you ever done that?
I usually didn't hit the ball.
Oh, well then there's that.
It was just the breeze.
At least you're honest, Brad.
Oh, yeah.
You were rugby, though.
That's right. I was good at hitting people, not
Exactly.
baseballs or softballs. So.
Eating dirt is what
That's
you
right.
did.
Stewart back in the box, and another payoff pitch upcoming from Sarah Mckenna. And that got a piece of the bat and didn't mean to, but fouled it off. Would have been ball 4. Five straight foul balls. This will be the 10th pitch to the at-bat. And we'll do it some more. Good battle here to start things off in the first inning. Runner at first nobody out, and a double-digit pitch at bat here for Lauren Stewart. As Sarah McKevney tries to shake off a leadoff walk to Kenzie Mcguire. Up high for ball 4. So back-to-back free passes, and that was a well-earned walk for Lauren Stewart.
Absolutely, and if you're McKevney, I mean, at that point you're trying to throw anything up there and see if you can get it by. I would like to have seen her stay around the zone and let her defense work for her, but Stewart did a great job.
Head coach Nick French out to the circle to talk to his pitcher now. He's in his first year as head coach. He was an assistant here last year for the Bulldogs. Former assistant at Towson, Georgia, Arizona, Memphis, and Holy Cross. This Bryant team now that has lost 6 straight, and during that span they've been shut out 5 of those 6 games and 9 times overall this season. And in danger here as McKevney has walked the first 2 hitters. And it brings up the left fielder, Kennedy Clark. Clark swinging a good bat. The senior hitting an even 400 on the year, 4 home runs, 19 RBI, including a 2-run shot in game 1 earlier today. She went 2 for 4. Spoils that one into the dugout.
You know, what I see from this Bryant team is, yes, they have struggled this season, but even just coming off of the first game, you and I talked about it in between innings, they have not given up. They came out at every inning at bat, and they were getting good at bats. They were getting runners on, and their defense played solid. It can be easy when you're struggling to kind of throw in the towel.
Well, that's not something you see very often from Kennedy Clark, but it'll load the bases. The sneaky bunt.
That was a sneaky bunt, Brad.
The power hitter gets up there and drops one down. Perfect spot, not only to move the runners over, but to get herself on. And the bases are full of Gamecocks with nobody out for the third baseman, Jana Johns, who leads the team with 6 home runs.
What I really like about that replay is you can see Kennedy Clark does a really nice job of getting her shoulders square to the ball, and you can see her eyes follow the ball to the bat. That's extremely important because her job is to get the ball fair, and you're right, there was no better placement for it.
Jana Johns with an aggressive swing on the first pitch. The sophomore started every game last year as a freshman. And picking up where she left off here, hitting .422. Leading the team with 22 RBI as well. Infield drawn in. This is low and inside. Taylor. Of her 27 hits this year, 14 are for extra bases for Jana Johns. Popped up to short left field. Left fielder Powell comes in. The infielder shortstop comes back. They're going to try to tag the play at the plate, not in time. And the Gamecocks will get a run on a shallow pop fly that was caught by the shortstop Camarillo after a near collision, and the Gamecocks are on the board.
That's probably the first defensive miscue that I've seen from Bryant coming into the first, coming from the first game. That was the shortstop's ball all the way. It just looks like maybe second base didn't hear the call off.
So it goes as a sac fly. You don't see too many sac flies to the shortstop. But Johns gets the RBI. First down in the inning for Mackenzie Bosal, the second baseman. Bosal 1 for 3 with a couple of runs scored in that first game today. The junior hitting at .384, 9 doubles, 3 home runs, 17 knocked in. Ball and a strike now to Bosal. Bosal's second team All-SEC last year, led the Gamecocks in hitting at .360. Also led the team with 18 doubles and 47 RBI. Hit down the left field line. Trouble if it's fair, and it is. Could be extra bases. Stewart around third. She will score. Clark will score, and it's a 2-run double for Mackenzie Bosal. The Gamecocks lead it 3-0. So Bosal doing what she does best. Runners in scoring position. It's a double. And Bosal continues to swing a good bat. 19 RBI in the season now. There's Alyssa Kumiyama, the DP here in Game 2, did not play in the first game. Still just one away for the Gamecocks. Bosal's 10th double of the season. Kumiyama off the second baseman Davis. She still gets the out. Runner to third on the play. For 2 outs for the right fielder here in Game 2. It's Carly Heath, who was the winning pitcher in the first game. Told you what she did in the circles. She also did a nice job at the plate in that first game, as Heath was 1 for 2 with a 2-run homer and a sac fly.
Something Coach Smith really has to appreciate about Carly Heath is, yes, she gave her a solid performance in the circle and she can pitch, but she's got this bat, but she hits from the left side, so it's going to give the Gamecocks a little bit more mix in the lineup. Anytime you can have a hitter from the left side, it's going to make it just that much tougher on the pitcher.
Yeah, a lot more options this year for the lineup with folks who can swing the bat.
Well, and you see with this game, Carly Heath's in right field, so Coach Smith is able to move people around so that she can put the hot hitters in the lineup more so. And that also goes to show when you have pitchers that can hit for themselves.
McKevney trying to get out of the inning without further damage. 3 runs already, a couple of hits, 2 walks. Swing and a miss. Well, Heath, this is what she did in Game 1 today. Told you she was the winning pitcher. She was tough. Had 7 strikeouts and allowed just 2 hits. And as we told you, she can hit the ball as well. This was her home run, a 2-run shot. 2-2 pitch. We'll do it again. For Heath in Game 1, that was her 3rd home run of the season. Two again from Sarah McKevney. Heath doesn't offer. Bosal's at third. She had the double that plated a couple of runs. Now there's 2 down.
I know McKevney didn't get the call there, but that was a good pitcher's pitch. Looked like it was a little off the plate, but with that count, that's a great spot. If Heath gets the bat on it, she's not going to be able to do much with it.
3rd full count here in the first inning. The payoff. Hit in the air to right field. Sabrina Crane comes in. Second baseman Davis goes out, and Davis drops the ball. Run will score on the error, and Heath chugs into second base, and that's a tough break for Bryant and McKevney. First error of the day by the Bulldogs.
I'm not really sure what happened there. Usually a routine fly ball, but that's something that Bryant, you need to have solid defense like you did in the first game. But you have to also give credit to Carly Heath. She didn't hesitate. That's why it's so important to run the play out until the call is made.
No RBI for Heath, but the Gamecocks will take the run anyway. Here's Katie Preble. She's the first baseman here in Game 2. Didn't see her in the first game. The sophomore's a transfer from Gardner-Webb in her first season with the Gamecocks, and what a first year she had at Gardner-Webb. She was a 3rd-team All-America, the Big South Freshman of the Year and Player of the Year. Hit .438 with 23 home runs. That was a school and conference record. along with 71 RBI. And she's been somewhat platooning at first base this year. Slow roller, but Mckenna is there. Inning over, but the Gamecocks pick up 4 runs on 2 hits and 1 big error. 4-0 Gamecocks after 1. 7 Innings is the weekly softball podcast with the ESPN personalities covering the sport, entertaining us all the way to Oklahoma City and beyond. Listen now on the ESPN app, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Checking in at the SEC standings after 1 week of conference play. Alabama is still the only team in the country that's undefeated overall. Look at all the ranked teams once again in the SEC. Gamecocks trying to bounce back after a disappointing weekend as they were swept at home here by Kentucky. It's going to be a challenge every week in the league, and Gamecocks will travel to Arkansas this week.
Yeah, Arkansas is going to be a good matchup for South Carolina. They've really turned it on the last couple of years with Coach Courtney Deifel coming in and has really overhauled the program. So South Carolina today is looking to get the good feels, the good touch back, play solid defense, build their confidence back up coming off a tough weekend.
Third baseman Jessica Diaz stands in against Calcio and is ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Diaz 0 for 2 in the first game. Diaz enters this game hitting .211, 2 doubles as her lone extra base hits, just 1 RBI. Last year, 4 home runs led the club. 3-0 from Calcio. And she walks her on 4 pitches, and for the second straight inning, the Bulldogs get the leadoff aboard. Again, Calcio, the sophomore, trying to work her way back from the ankle injury. Trying to find that rhythm that she was in last year, where she was a big part of the reason that the Gamecocks made it to the Super Regional. She was named to the SEC All-Freshman team.
It's like you said. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You say Nicole Davis, the hitter.
You can see timeout here. Yeah, it's like you said. Kelsey is trying to work the rust off, get back into form. Coach Smith calling a timeout here because she struggled to find the zone here. And this is the kind of thing that in midweek games like this, that's what you've got to sharpen up. That's what you've got to tighten up, learn how to work through it. So like you see, Coach Smith is going to let Kelsey stay in and try to work through this.
And one of the things that was so great about Kelsey in her freshman year was her control. The strikeout to walk ratio last year, 135 strikeouts against 49 walks. Coming into today's game, 8 strikeouts, 8 walks. So obviously she's trying to get that rhythm back. And the freak ankle injury happened in their season opening tournament down in Mexico. First the 1-0 is fouled off, and it wasn't even in a game or in practice. It was stepping off the curb.
Insert some kind of pitcher comment.
Well, I'm sure she was madder than a wet hen after that happened. I mean, missing all that time.
That'll sure make you madder than a wet hen.
Yeah. 1-1 pitch, fouled off at the plate. Ball and 2 strikes now. Davis, the junior from Toms River, New Jersey. Was a pinch hitter in game 1, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And she'll strike out here. 3rd strikeout for Kelsey O. First one looking. There's Alexandra Hickey, the first baseman. Bulldogs got the leadoff aboard on a walk. Now there's 1 away. Hickey is sophomore, hitting .121. Of her 4 hits this year, 3 are for extra bases, 2 doubles, a home run, 3 RBI.
kind of bringing the conversation back to Kelsey O's ankle injury. Just a quick point that I want to make here is for anybody that is a pitcher right now and is coming up and wants to play in college or even in high school, it's so important that you throw and you pitch routinely to hitters and that you play, not excessively, but as much as you can, because even you can see here that this elite collegiate pitcher is just coming off of an injury. And it's been a month, which for college softball, that's a long time, but you can already see that, yeah, there is some rust because he hasn't been in game situations. So just extremely important to make sure that you're practicing consistently.
Opportunity here for the Bulldogs, 2 on with 1 out. For the center fielder, Tiffany Bell, she'll take strike 1 here. The hit by Hickey gives them 2 in the game. That's as many hits as they had in all of game 1 earlier today. And just the second time in the doubleheader that they've had 2 base runners the same inning. Mcguire, that one scoots out of the glove, and they punched her out at first. That was a close play there. And home plate umpire, or make it a conference here, as Coach Nick French didn't like the call at first base. I thought that maybe Preble got her foot pulled off the bag here as that throw was in the dirt.
Yeah, it did look.
Umpires are going to talk about it. Did Preble keep her foot on long enough? That's the question. No. No, she is off the bag.
And so that kind of comes up about this question of replay. When we're in the booth up here, we have the advantage, and he went back and made the call, so the default went back to the home plate umpire, I believe, on that call. But it comes in the question of replay, and from what I understand, last year and in the past, replay has been used in baseball, and they've tried it out with baseball, and the SEC Conference is going to experiment with it in the SEC tournament this year. So it may be that in the near future you'll see replay being an option for coaches down the road.
The bases are loaded with 1 out for Sabrina Crane, the right fielder. And a big cut came up empty there. The error was charged to Kenzie Mcguire, the shortstop. Looked like that ball just slipped out of her hand. She's normally very accurate. And it results in an error and an opportunity here for the Bulldogs. And it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. Oh, would love to get a punch out here. Crane just trying to perhaps get one out of the infield. Crane hitting 133, no RBI on the season. Was 0 for 1 in the first game earlier today. Just got a piece of it to stay alive, and I know you've done a lot of research working with umpires, and it's been pretty extensive for you. I know it's a different relationship perhaps than you've had in the past.
Absolutely. I've had the opportunity, and we're in the process right now of working with umpires, delivering mental performance training. You would be amazed.
Gets away and got away twice, but the Bulldogs unable to take advantage.
Yeah, that was crazy. So you're seeing, I mean, speaking of mental performance, you're seeing kind of a little bit of a breakdown and some focus here. Athletes, I know South Carolina has a mental performance coach they work with, or they have in the past. South Carolina had a sports psychologist on staff, and many of the top schools in the SEC, they'll have the funds to be able to provide that resource to athletes. But when you think about the umpires, they receive no training like that whatsoever. And you think about the flack that they catch from fans and just questioning on the calls that they get. I mean, that leads to doubt. And the umpires did a good job of coming together and trying to figure it out. But let's say that they had stuck with the call at first base and had called her safe, and we see on replay it's not. Well, that's something that they have to go back with and live with, and there's no outlet for them to get past that.
Big punch out for Kelsey O, her 4th strikeout of the game, and it's the 2nd out here in the 2nd inning.
Good comeback by Kelsey O, and that's a look at her rise ball right there.
Bases still loaded now for Toni Camarillo, who had an infield single to start the game. She's got 2 hits in the doubleheader, both of the infield variety. Infield in even with 2 outs because of the speed of Camarillo coming out of the left-handed hitter's box. Takes a strike here. So trying to work out of a big jam here after the Gamecocks spotted her to 4 runs in their first set of swings. walk, a hit, and an error loaded him.
You know, we've talked about Bryant, about how they have come out and they keep putting the pressure on in some way. And, you know, for Kelsey, this is a good learning situation for her as she's kind of knocking that rust off. Bases loaded situation early in the game, so and they're ahead. So this is purely a learning curve for her right now.
Trying to hit that one spot, but Camarillo not offering, and 2 balls and a strike now. Infield still in, outfield playing shallow. Chopper to short. Mcguire bobbles, won't have a play. Second error of the inning, and that's not something you can say very often for this middle infield for South Carolina, let alone Kenzie Mcguire. A run will score to make it 4-1. Oh, they're going to give it a hit. Got it again here.
That's the beauty of bases loaded situation. If you're the hitter, you do just what Camarillo did. You just need to put the ball in play, make the defense work, see what they can come up with.
So run is in, bases still loaded for Morgan Powell, who reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. To Jana Johns at third. She'll go the long way across, inning over. But the Bulldogs do get a run. They leave the bases loaded. It's 4-1 Gamecocks. Four to 1 Gamecocks over the visiting Bryant University Bulldogs. We move to the bottom half of the second inning in Columbia. Pitching change for the Bulldogs. Colby Norris, a senior, will take over. 0-5 on the season. You see her numbers overall. 15 strikeouts, 10 walks, and 24 1/3 innings. And she picks up Sarah McKevney, who went just 1 inning, gave up 4 runs on a couple of hits, and walked a pair of batters. 9-1-2 due up for South Carolina in their half of the second. Catcher Jordan Fabian to lead things off. The only Gamecock not to come to the plate in the first inning. The freshman did not play in game 1. First pitch swinging, sends a fly ball to center field. Bell comes in. Davis, the second baseman, goes back and makes a tumbling catch for out number 1. Take another look. Davis covers a lot of ground here.
The shortstop, number 2, Kenzie Mcguire.
Yeah, I think the center fielder probably could have gotten that one, but Davis did a good job carrying through with that, because otherwise it's going to drop into no man's land.
Shortstop Kenzie Mcguire stands in. She walked and scored the Gamecocks' first run last inning. Mcguire, 360 hitter on the year, 4 home runs, including 1 earlier today in game 1. A 7-0 victory for the Gamecocks. Falls way behind. No balls and 2 strikes as Colby Norris Trying to make quick work of the Gamecocks here. A little too far inside that time. Gamecocks had 4 home runs in the first game, en route to the 7-0 victory. Hit down the right field line, but the right fielder is there. That's Sabrina Crane. There's out number 2.
Second fielder, number 1, Lauren Stewart.
As the center fielder, Lauren Stewart, walked and scored in the first inning. Stewart 2 for 4 with the home run in game 1 today. You see her numbers on the year. First pitch to Stewart stays high. Spring break here at the University of South Carolina. We had the early start today, the noon first pitch of game 1. Ball and a strike now to Lauren Stewart. Stewart, a redshirt junior from Alpharetta, Georgia, as we told you, started her college career at Purdue. Played 1 year there before transferring to the Gamecocks. Rips that one backhanded nicely by the third baseman, Gradius, and Gamecocks go down in order here in the second. 4-1 Gamecocks after 2 in Columbia. We move to the third inning here in Columbia, game 2 of this doubleheader, with the Gamecocks leading the Bulldogs of Bryant University 4-1. 3, 4, and 5 due up for Bryant here in their half of the third. They got a run last inning. They've had the leadoff aboard in each of the first 2 innings so far against Kelsey O. Catcher Mariana Politis to lead things off, a strikeout victim in the first inning. And she takes strike 1 here. 4 strikeouts on the day for Kelsey O. Worked out of a jam last inning. Worked around a walk, a hit, and an error, and an infield hit to give up just 1 run after the Bulldogs had loaded the bases. Hit foul down the left field line, out of play.
I think what you just said is a perfect example of why it's so important for pitchers to, 1, work ahead and try to keep the leadoff runner on, because if you say that scenario again, she worked out of a jam where there was a walk, then it led to a hit, and then there was an error. So there's a couple different situations going on there with Kelsey O needing to bear down and then the defense needing to be there to pick it up. And that kind of just talks to or shows an example of when one thing happens, how you don't want to let it keep rolling. You've got to find a way to cut it off before you get into those situations.
Yeah, it can snowball pretty quickly on you.
Absolutely.
Infield back with 2 strikes on Politis. We'll do it again. And this is a Bryant team that's played all of their 17 games, now 18th game on the road. They've been in Miami, Florida, I think Boca Raton, Athens, Georgia, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. They were over at Coastal Carolina for 2 games earlier this week. Their first 28 will be away from home. Loses the grip on that one, 2-2.
When you think about how much they're playing their games away from home, I'm curious as to how much time they've actually gotten on their home field to actually practice.
Sure.
Can't imagine it's been that much.
Up in Rhode Island, I imagine there's a lot of indoor practices. Cage work. Here's a strikeout for Kelsey O, her 5th of the day. Second time she's gotten Politis swinging.
It's a good start to this inning. Nice low inside pitch. Not really much you can do with that.
First time the Bulldogs haven't gotten the leadoff aboard. There's Gianna Ceccarelli, a strikeout victim to end the first inning. First pitch slapped foul towards their dugout. Ceccarelli 0 for 3 in the doubleheader today. It's that fun, busy time of year. A lot of times when we're out here at Carolina Softball Stadium, there's a lot of other activity, whether it's a home track meet, a home beach volleyball, or a home tennis match, and all those facilities surrounding this facility.
I know. Sometimes I have a hard time keeping you focused.
Beach volleyball, a big win yesterday. They knocked off #2 Southern Cal, a huge win for Coach Moritz and the South Carolina beach volleyball program. Fisted towards left field. That'll drop in for a base hit. So Ceccarelli drops one in. 4th hit of the day for the Bulldogs after just 2 in all of game 1. And again, the Bulldogs, going back to last game, have had at least one base runner every inning. They're getting on.
Absolutely, and I think that's another reason why for South Carolina they need to come out defensively each inning and handle their business and stay clean. And for Bryant, they just need to keep plugging away. If you look at just Ceccarelli in her first at bat, she struck out, and she comes back this time and makes an adjustment and gets a hit.
Jessica Gradilla stands in, walked and scored their lone run last inning, led off the inning with that walk. 0 for 2 in the doubleheader. Just misses in. Oh, they did rule it a strike. A little delayed call there by our home plate umpire, Randy McLean. Swing and a miss. Speaking of the Gamecocks going to Arkansas this weekend, was it the Arkansas player earlier this year that hit for the home run cycle in a game?
Incredible.
Solo, 2-run, 3-run, and grand slam. I don't know that I've ever heard that that's happened.
It hasn't. It has not happened. That was a first, and that is just truly incredible.
I mean, it's amazing to hit 4 home runs in a game. That's hard enough, but to have the right opportunity where that many are on base in the course of a 7-inning game, a lot of times you're not going to get 4 at-bats in a game.
No, that was a unicorn for sure. That was just unbelievable.
Gardia's doing a nice job to stay alive here, 2-2. Bulldogs have out-hit the Gamecocks so far in this one, 4-2. Gamecocks lead where it counts. Checks her swing at a pitch low and in, and a good stop by Jordan Fabian. Payoff pitch to Jessica Gradillas. Got her swinging. 6th strikeout of the contest for Kelsey O. She's had 2 every inning so far.
Nice comeback after the hit.
Here's the second baseman, Nicole Davis, who looked at strike 3 in the 2nd inning. Takes strike 1. Davis 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts in the doubleheader. Left side of the infield playing shallow for South Carolina. Slaps that one foul, and again Kelsey O way ahead.
You talk about the home run cycle from the Arkansas hitter, and her name just slips me, of course, because we started talking about her.
Right.
But so I apologize for that. But also you think about some of the big things that have happened around sports. You had Mike Martin at Florida State baseball reached 2,000 wins. How does that happen?
It's a lot of success and being given the opportunity to coach for a very long time.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
I mean, consistent success, but even when they have a bad year of
right. I gotcha. Reading you loud and clear there.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And then you also think about Jessica Mendoza.
Yes.
Big breakthrough for female broadcasters. I mean, she played softball at Stanford and on the Olympic team, and she was hired as a consultant for the Mets, which is huge for women.
And I think she's still going to do some of the broadcasting, which will be interesting because I don't know if she'll be allowed to cover Mets games or.
Sure. Well, from what I understand, it happens quite frequently where broadcasters will be hired as consultants for teams. I mean, it makes sense. You think about how many games broadcasters see, especially if you cover a certain team, It's
that fun time of year, too. Of course, March Madness getting ready to heat up.
Oh, there's that. Yep. What, there's another sport right now besides softball?
Believe it or not. Good battle here between Davis and Kelsey O. Yep, they'll have the women's selection show on Monday night to announce the NCAA tournament field. Men's conference tournament's going on now.
Why do all I think about is money bags when you say that?
Whoa, that one got away from O, and taking second easily is Camarillo on the wild one.
Yeah, so you can see we're just going to let that one go. It happens. It's fine. It's fine. Everybody's fine. So when she's throwing her changeup, she's trying to throw it out the back of her hand, and sometimes you lose grip on it. That's exactly what happened there.
2-2 down the left field line, but foul. Did you ever mess with that changeup stuff, or were you just heaters all the time?
Yeah, I messed with it. Yeah, I had a changeup, but what I didn't do very well is my changeup was effective, but I didn't hide it very well. I slowed my motion down a little bit, and that's hard when you're learning how to throw a changeup, or when you have one. That's the key to it, right? You need to not telegraph it. But my motion was so wild and crazy anyway that it didn't really matter.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat to Davis. Slow roller to O. Inning over. Nothing doing for the Bulldogs here in the third as Kelsey O gets 2 more strikeouts. She has 6 of those so far. Three, 4, and 5 due up for the Gamecocks as we move to the bottom half of the third inning here in Columbia. Game 2 of our doubleheader. Gamecocks were retired in order last time. Left fielder Kennedy Clark will stand in. A bunt single in the first inning. Came around to score. Gamecocks scored all 4 of their runs that inning. Takes a strike here from Colby Norris in her second inning of work. Sarah Mckenna started the game, pitched just the first inning. Clark 3 for 5 in the doubleheader. Had a 2-run home run in the first game. Gamecocks won the first game earlier today, 7-0. Outside, and now Clark in the driver's seat here, 3-1. Hit in the air to right center field. Bell goes back, looks up, it's gone. 5th home run of the season for Kennedy Clark, her second of the day, and the Gamecocks lead it 5-1.
Kenny Clark had to feel good about this one, and she turned and got all of that. A similar spot to where she hit her first one in the first game, actually.
Yeah, that first one I think was a little higher off the scoreboard,
yeah,
but she's putting a hurting on that scoreboard today.
Good thing there's a net.
Yeah. Here's Jana Johns, the third baseman, who had a sac fly to the shortstop in the first inning. Gets away from the catcher, Politis. Kennedy Clark, 2 home runs today. Those are 5 on the season. That's tied for second on the team. And Jana Johns at the plate leading the way with 6. Checks her swing, and it's ruled a strike. Clark, who just hit that home run coming into the season, had hit 9 home runs in her first 3 years, including 5 last year, and she's already equaled last year's home run total with a long way to go.
Just kind of speaks to the improvement that she's made too. And,
yep.
You know, there's been some changes with the South Carolina coaching staff, and one of those being Coach Kayla Jackson coming in, former Gamecock athlete herself, volunteer coach, and then made her way back. done some good work with the Gamecock hitters.
Jana John smashing one that past the third baseman Gradius, and that one just ate her up. Didn't have a chance. It'll go as a hit for Jana Johns. That took a wild hop on the third baseman as Jana John smashed that one into the dirt.
Jana just goes up to get this one, yanks it over to that left side of the field.
So 2 straight hits, the home run and the single here. And another dangerous hitter at the plate in Mackenzie Bosal, and a little meeting in the circle here with head coach Nick French. As we told you, in his first year as the head coach, was the assistant coach last year. And a lot of experience. He was at Towson, was an assistant at Georgia, Arizona, Memphis, and Holy Cross. And trying to get this program turned around at Bryant University. Mackenzie Bosal had the RBI double in the first inning. Right down the left field line. As both Mcguire, or rather Stewart and Clark would score. Gamecocks scored 4 that inning. Now a chance to do some more damage. Hits that one right at the left fielder, Powell, who was playing over towards left center field. Had her played perfectly. Solid swing by Bosal, but nothing to show for it. First out of the inning for the DP, Alyssa Kumiyama, who grounded out to second in the first inning. Kumiyama, the sophomore, out of Lakewood, California. Last year, Kumiyama hit .235, tied for second on the team with 10 home runs as a rookie. Didn't offer a ball and a strike.
That was a good hold by Kumiyama. She doesn't want to swing at a changeup unless she has to. Coming off the bench, though, Little Bird tells me that Kumiyama is pretty tough hitter.
Yeah, and there's a pretty tough hit right there. Again, the third baseman, Gradius, unable to come up with that smash, and it'll go as an RBI double. And the Gamecocks lead it 6-1. Solid smashes off the bat this inning.
A similar pitch to Jana Johns, just high up in the zone, a little bit out.
8 RBI in the season now for Kumiyama. And we'll get a pinch runner for her. Ellie Simpson, the freshman from Cumming, Georgia, will stand at second base.
Yeah, just kind of to finish that thought on Kumiyama, she had a couple situations in the last couple of weeks where she was a pinch hitter and had a grand slam and then, a 3-run home run,
yep.
I believe. And I asked Coach Smith about that, and she said, well, it just comes to be that she was prepared. She had been charting. She had been keeping her head in the game. It's hard to come off the bench and hit, period.
Yep. Carly Heath, the right fielder, reached on an error in the first inning on a dropped pop-up. And a chance to add to the lead. Gamecocks leading at 6-1. Gamecocks now out hitting the Bulldogs 5-4 as Heath sends a fly ball out to Tiffany Bell in center field. Runner's going to bluff the tag. And it's the second out of the inning.
It was a good job by Haley Simpson there. She watched to see the ball caught, and then she gets a convincing enough lead off of the base that she forces center field to make the throw. You never know on that. That's what you teach your runners to do, force the throw, and then maybe there's a mistake.
Katie Preble stands in. She's the first baseman today, or here in game 2. 0 for 1, grounded out back to the circle to end the first inning. Preble trying to get her bat going in her first season with the Gamecocks after transferring from Gardner-Webb. Good stop by the catcher Politis up there to keep the runner where she is. I told you Preble had an unbelievable year playing at Gardner-Webb in the Big South Conference as a freshman. He's the freshman and player of the year. 2-1 now. Hit over 400 with a school record, 23 home runs and 71 knocked in. Obviously, playing in the SEC will be a bigger challenge for her, better pitching that she'll see, and trying to find her way. To the shortstop, Camarillo, throw to first, dug out nicely by Hickey, and that'll do it for the Gamecocks. Here in the third, they pick up 2 more runs. Kennedy Clark starting it off with her 5th home run of the year, and the Gamecocks now lead it 6-1. Sophomore Kelsey O trying to get back in rhythm, and so far not too bad. 6 strikeouts in 3 innings of work, as she has struck out 2 in every inning thus far. The Gamecocks have staked her now to a 6-1 lead. Oh, as we told you, coming off the ankle injury, she missed about a month and still trying to find the consistency. And you know what she's capable of after earning SEC All-Freshman honors last year. Remember that game in the NCAA Regional against UNC Greensboro, a complete game 1 hitter with 13 strikeouts. Solid smash off the bat of Alexandra Hickey, the first baseman, with a leadoff single here. And it's the 3rd time today in 4 innings that the Bulldogs have gotten the leadoff aboard.
Yeah, you know, you talk about Kelsey O working off the rust or knocking off the rust, that kind of thing. And it's just in little things like that. She's throwing a good game, so don't get me wrong here. But you can tell just in her pitches. I saw this weekend when she came out to pitch as well. Her pitches just aren't, the spin is not as tight as I have seen her in the past. And so this is an opportunity for her to tighten those up and get them working. And it's going to take some time. I mean, it's not going to be she goes from today and then all of a sudden she's back 100%, right? It takes time.
See, Tomeno takes over as the pinch runner at first base for Hickey, who's 2 for 2 now. And first pitch swinging is Tiffany Bell. Flip to second for 1. That's all they'll get as the middle infielders, Kenzie Mcguire to Mackenzie Bosal, gets the first out of the inning. So runner still at first, now 1 down. For the right fielder, Sabrina Crane, a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. By the way, Ellie Simpson is the center fielder now for the Gamecocks, taking over for Stewart. As the Gamecocks made a defensive change. Oh, back to work. Bulldogs have been aggressive this inning. I believe every hitter has swung at the first pitch so far, knowing that O wants to get ahead. Hits are even at 5 apiece. Oh, way ahead now, no balls and 2 strikes.
You know, it's little things like that where if you're Bryant, you need to be encouraged because they're coming out and they're making adjustments. Like you said, now they're starting to be more aggressive on the first pitch because they know that O is trying to get ahead on that first pitch. And they have been scrappy and they're still making contact on the ball. And, you know, I don't say this I say this in a very respectful way. Sometimes you'll see teams come out and they'll get beat pretty well the first game, and then they'll kind of roll over on the second game. So for Bryant, there's a lot of respect there. They haven't done that at all. They're battling.
Yeah, this is a team that comes in at now 1-16 after the loss earlier today, but they know they still have a lot of season in front of them when they start conference play.
Sure, and you have to think about even though Coach French was on the staff last year, this is his first year as the head coach. It's different when you're a head coach, and you still have to, work on the culture, your style of play. There's just a lot that goes into that.
McGuire steps on the bag for 1, relay to first, double play, inning over. Kenzie Mcguire doing Kenzie Mcguire things and nothing doing for the Bulldogs here in the 4th as the Gamecocks turn 2. Six to 1 Gamecocks as we move to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Gamecocks looking for their 20th win this year. This is what they did last year, 49 wins. You see the home runs and some good things in postseason play. Got to the Super Regional for the first time in Coach Bev Smith's tenure here. After a thrilling regional here, they worked their way out of the losers bracket here, had a walk-off win in there to advance to the Supers. Jordan Fabian swings at the first pitch, sends a fly ball to center field, and she's retired by Tiffany Bell for out number 1. So Fabian, the catcher, 0 for 2 today. Back to the top of the order as Kenzie Mcguire stands in. Mcguire just helped the Gamecocks turn their 11th double play of this season at the top half of this frame. 0 for 1 with a walk in this game. Had a home run in the first game earlier today.
Now, we just started broadcast on Friday of this past week, so I say this to say that that is the first time that I've seen Fabian get some very solid contact on the ball. And, you know, it went straight to center field, and we've seen that happen on both sides today quite a bit. But anytime you're seeing hard contact like that and it's solid, as a coach, you're still encouraged by that just because they didn't get on. I mean, obviously you want them to get on base, but the solid contact coming off of a weekend where maybe you didn't make quite a solid contact, that's a positive thing.
Kenzie Mcguire way ahead here. 3 balls, no strikes. Mcguire leads the team with 13 walks on the season. Takes a strike here. For 1 pitch, fisted into left field. Powell is there. And there's 2 away. So Lawrence Stewart, who started the game as the center fielder, was replaced defensively after a pinch runner for Kumiyama, but still stays in the game. And now Stewart 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored today. Trying to get something started with 2 outs. Colby Norris in her 3rd inning of work here for the Bulldogs. Ran into some trouble, gave up a couple of runs last inning, but trying to get the Gamecocks in order for the 2nd time today. Way ahead here, no balls and 2 strikes. Stewart with 7 extra base hits on the year, including 4 home runs, and fouls that one off. Norris still way ahead. Didn't get her to chase. Gamecocks travel to Arkansas for 3 games after this contest. As you saw on the graphic earlier, I think 9 teams in the SEC currently ranked in the top 25. It's going to be interesting every weekend. I don't know if there's a better conference tournament in terms of number of quality teams you're going to see top to bottom.
The SEC has certainly improved in strength over the years.
Soft line drives caught by Gradius at 3rd, and the Gamecocks retired in order for the 2nd time in this game. Still 6-1 South Carolina after 4. 6-1 South Carolina over Bryant as we move to the top of the 5th inning here in Game 2 of the doubleheader. It'll be the top of the order due up for the Bulldogs. Shortstop Toni Camarillo will stand in against Kelsey O, and Camarillo, pretty good day so far. 2 for 2 in this game, a couple of singles, and drove in the lone run of the contest for the Bulldogs. Had one of the 2 hits in the first game as well. Infield in, outfield playing shallow for the slap hitter. Out of play for strike 1.
That's the kind of performance you're looking for from your leadoff hitter, right? I mean, you're looking for her to get on base, set the table.
Kelsey O with 6 strikeouts today. Has issued 1 walk. And quickly add here, no balls and 2 strikes. 5 hits for Bryant, all of them singles. Tapper to short. McGuire's there, whips it across. There's one away. Kelsey O trying to make efficient work of the Bulldogs today. Was helped by a nice double play last inning. You see what she's done. 54 strikes, 21 out of the zone. And we'll have a pinch hitter here in the 2-hole. As grabbing a bat is Helena Michaud. She's a junior from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. First pitch from O. Taken for a strike. Michaud hitting .250 in limited playing time, 2 for 8 at the plate this year. No extra base hits, no RBI. Taps that one to Jana Johns at third. She's got it. Good strong throw. And there's 2 away.
You can see a little bit of the cannon that Janet Johns has here. I mean, you have to think she half of her body was in foul territory there. That's a long throw for her. Well, not for her, but just in general. For me, that's a long throw.
Made it look easy.
From me to you is a long throw right now.
Here's the catcher, Mariana Politis, who's 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts. And again, Kelsey O working way ahead. (15 of 21 first pitch strikes for Kelsey O today. Talk about wanting to get ahead. She's been doing just that.
And I'm sure that was part of the game plan. I mean, that's something that you talk about prior to coming out, right?
And 1, 2, 3 go the Bulldogs here in the 5th. 7th strikeout of the game for Kelsey O. Still 6-1 Gamecocks. 6-1 Gamecocks as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning here in Columbia. Game 2 of the doubleheader. Gamecocks will send the 3, 4, and 5 hitters to the plate against Colby Norris. Left fielder Kennedy Clark to lead things off. Clark's already had a good day and a good game here. 2 for 2 in this one, including a solo shot in her last trip in the 3rd inning. It was her 5th home run of the season, 2nd home run of the day after a 2-run blast in game 1. Had a bunt single in the 1st inning. So 4 for 6 on the day for Clark. Colby Norris in her 4th inning of relief work. Ball and a strike now to Kennedy Clark.
And just what we've seen from Clark today, you know, she's showing her power, but she's also showing that she can play the small game, which, again, is not something that all players can do.
Caught the inside corner. Norris ahead here, a ball and 2 strikes.
That was a nice changeup by Norris and a good hold by Clark.
Couldn't do a lot with that pitch, and it was in a good spot for Norris. Hits that one in the gap towards left center. That'll drop in for extra bases. Clark's hot hitting continues. A stand-up double to lead off the 5th inning. Kennedy Clark with a double. She's the triple shy of the cycle, her 10th two-bagger of the season. So a good start for the Gamecocks here in the 5th. Here's Jana Johns, who's hit the ball hard last time, had a solid single through the left side, came around to score in the 3rd inning, and also had a sac fly in the 1st inning. See Jana's numbers on the season, team leading 6 home runs. Checked her swing, but it's ruled a strike in on the hands, 1-1.
Another good spot for Norris there. I love a low inside pitch. It's tough to hit.
Norris, the senior for the Bulldogs. Change of pace there, and Jana Johns couldn't do anything but watch. So Norris way ahead here. And it hits her. Nope. They can make her come back, saying she was get the hands into the river. Coach Beverly Smith out to see what home plate umpire Randy McClam will say.
Yeah, so you're looking for the ball in the batter's box. And it looked like it almost hit the bottom part of the bat there too. Tough to say when we're up here, so he's going to call his crew in.
Didn't hear the clunk that you would normally hear if it hit the knob of the bat. And the umpires are going to get together and discuss what they saw or did not see. We'll let you watch and hear again. And they will grant her first base. They say it did not hit the bat. It did hit the hand, indeed. I think that was the issue.
Now we're going to have Coach French come out. He's going to ask the same question. And to be honest with you, it was tough for us to see up here if it hit or not.
And the umpires weren't even looking at the replay that we were, and for sound, perhaps that was what they were discussing. You see what Jan has done in her career. Hit by pitch 28 times last year. That led all of college softball this season on another pace. So Gamecocks get the first two aboard. And here's Mackenzie Bosal, who had a 2-run double in the first inning, lined out to left field in the third. Let's see her numbers on the season. Up high and tight, and this is one that Norris does not want to make a mistake to. Bosal with a lot of pop in her bat, has 3 home runs, 9 doubles on the season. It's that one into center field, a solid single. Runner around third. Here comes Kennedy Clark. She will score, and the Gamecocks lead at 7-1. Johns on to third on the play. So 3 RBI for Bosal today.
You can see Bosal just takes the pitch right back where it came from. Norris missed down the middle of the plate there. And just like you said, I mean, I think that's something that as Norris goes through the season, she's going to look and you know, see she's going to have to work on keeping the ball off the plate.
At the corners, still nobody out. Gamecocks leading at 7-1. Alyssa Kumiyama re-enters the game, the DP. She had an RBI double in the third inning, also grounded out to second. Line drive snared by Gradius, and there's the first out. Kumiyama got a good swing on it. The Adam ball is out number 1. So here's Carly Heath, the right fielder. Reached on an error in the first inning, flied to center in the third. Was the winning pitcher who also hit a home run in the first game today. Takes ball 1 just off the plate. Runner goes from first to second, and they'll throw to third instead. So 2 in scoring position now, as Bosal takes second base. Off the top of the plate there, 1-2. Norris could use a punch out here.
I tell you, if she throws another changeup that looks like that, she might get it.
Infield drawn in a little bit. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's the first strikeout of the game for Norris, and a big second out here. Gamecocks with the potential game-ending run, standing at second base.
Norris did a nice job right there. She was working the outside corner, obviously because Carly Heath has that power on the inside, but she did a good job of just going back to the outside corner every time. She threw a really nice changeup in there, kept Heath off balance.
Now Coach French out to the circle to talk to Colby Norris. As Katie Preble stands in. She's 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs, but again, the Gamecocks, if Preble could come through with a base hit here, 2-run score would end the game early. Quick meeting in the circle, and now we'll get back to softball.
Because that had nothing to do with softball.
Stop.
Silly.
7 runs on 7 hits for the Gamecocks here. Nice stop by Politis behind the plate. Spins in for a strike.
There's that changeup I was talking about. It seems like Norris, the timing for her changeup in terms of the release on her pitch is starting to turn on, and she's doing a good job selling it.
Pops out of the mid, 3-1. Jordan Fabian would be next if Preble draws the walk here. Again, the change of pace falls in for a strike, runs it full. Payoff on the way. Inside, she walked her. First walk given up by Norris today. 3rd overall by the Bulldog pitching staff in this game, and it loads the bases with 2 outs. Brings up the catcher, Jordan Fabian, looking for her first hit, 0 for 2. See what Fabian does here. She swung at the first pitch, both at bats so far. A pop to short and a fly to center.
Although I will say her last at bat, that fly to center you called was solid contact. So something, Norris is in a situation here where she needs to attack the hitter, especially the 9-hole hitter, and you've got bases loaded, but you also have to keep in mind that Fabian's going to be aggressive on the first pitch, possibly, unless she's given the hold.
Madison Owens pinch running at first base for Preble. Does not swing at the first pitch here, does Fabian. Takes a strike on the inside portion of the plate. Fabian with just 1 RBI on the season. No extra base hits, but an opportunity here.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say that was a good hold by Fabian.
Yep. Yeah, that was a tough one to lay off, as we've seen with her changeup. Rolls that one foul to even the count. Norris trying to get out of a big jam here with 2 outs. Bases loaded. Strike 3 called, inning over, and the Gamecocks will leave them loaded. They do strike for a run on the RBI single from Mackenzie Bosal. It's now 7-1 Gamecocks. Freshman Rachel Vaughn takes to the circle for the Gamecocks as we move to the 6th inning here in Columbia. She replaces Kelsey O. Vaughn, the rookie from Sonoy, Georgia. First lefty pitcher for Coach Beverly Smith in her era here, and you see the numbers on the start of her career. Vaughn making just her 4th appearance in the circle so far. Has only tossed 8 1/3 innings, but gets an opportunity. Kelsey O went 5 innings, gave up the 1 run on 5 hits, had 7 strikeouts, and 1 walk.
Besides the obvious different look from the left side, Vaughn is going to work more low in the zone where Kelsey O has that nice rise ball that comes up. Vaughn's going to keep it down low.
4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for the Bulldogs as Gianna Ceccarelli takes strike one here to start the 6th. Up, pinch hitter rather is Dakota Belodu, sophomore from Milford, New Hampshire. Is a pinch hitter in game 1, and she falls behind here like 0-2. She was 0 for 1 in that first game today. Ball and 2 strikes now.
It is kind of neat. For as long as I've been following South Carolina softball, I can't remember a left-handed pitcher, so it's neat as an alumni to see a pitcher standing out there throwing from the left side.
Rolls that one to Jana Johns at third and makes another strong throw for out number 1. Had the charge and plenty of time for the first out. Looks like we'll get another pinch hitter here. Jenna Cali will step in, senior from Franklinville, New Jersey. Cali walked in a pinch hit appearance in the first game today. Freshman back to work, checks her swing and a pitch down low. Gamecocks with 4 runs in the first inning, 2 in the third, 1 in the 5th. Bulldogs got their lone run in the second. Bounces up there and the freshman falls behind. Battles back to run the count full. Payoff pitch to Cali outside. She walked her. And at the plate, Carlin Hernandez, a freshman from Cypress, California, who would take over for Nicole Davis at second base. Or hitting in the spot for Nicole Davis, the second baseman. Played first base in the 4th inning. Runner at first with 1 out. Rachel Vaughn in the circle for the Gamecocks, one of 5 pitchers on staff for Coach Beverly Smith, getting an opportunity here, trying to find her place amongst the staff.
And I think this is a good opportunity, Coach Smith. You know, they're up in the game. This is, you're going into your last 2 innings. Kelsey O was throwing solid, so you know she could always come back in if needed. But this is an opportunity to give your freshman pitcher that hasn't seen many innings yet opportunity to grow and to learn and to get some innings.
Comebacker through the circle for a base hit, and the Bulldogs have something going here, a walk and a single. Put them at first and second with 1 away. So see how the freshman Vaughn handles a little adversity here. Allison Tomeno, the freshman, at the plate. pinch runner, I believe, in the 4th inning was Tomeno. And stays in to hit here. Played second base. Infield drawn in. Still just one away. There's a strike right down the middle. Bulldogs just 2 hits in the first game today. They've got 6 already here. Tapper right side. Only plays the second and it gets away. Runner's going to score and it'll make it 7-2. That was the only play the Gamecocks had a chance to make because of where that ball was hit, but they don't field it cleanly.
You look here and you see Owens does a good job cutting it off. Momentum, obviously she's turned that way. Momentum's carrying her there, just has to make the throw.
So runners at first and second, and a run scores with the error, and it's a 7-2 game now. Tiffany Bell, the center fielder, will stand in. Second error of the day for the Gamecocks. Fielder's choice for Tomeno. So here's Bell. Reached on an error in the second inning, and then a fielder's choice in the 4th. Takes one down low for ball 1. Gamecocks did not commit an error in the first game today. In fact, neither team did. They had 4 errors over the weekend. Nice stop by the catcher, Fabian, to keep that one in front.
You know, and that's something that South Carolina defense is going to have to work on. But if you think about it, right now, if you're just looking, you have a freshman behind the plate, you have a freshman on the mound, you have a freshman over at first.
Yep.
And that's just in the infield, right? So you've got some youth out there.
They'll go to third and get the out there, and that's a pretty good defensive play by the freshman pitcher. Because that's not a normal throw to throw to third base.
But I like the aggressive, and she's set up very well. I mean, she's already turned, and that's a throw that is going to be more normal for her than it would be for a right-handed pitcher, not having to make the turn that a right-handed pitcher would make.
So 2 outs, runners at first and second for Colby DeZiel, a sophomore, replacing Sabrina Crane in the 9-hole now. She'll take a strike from Vaughn. Bulldogs have gotten a run in so far to cut it to 7-2. Infield drawn in for DeZiel. Colby DeZiel from Pasadena, California. One, just got a piece of it. Foul tips it into the glove. The ball and 2 strikes now as Vaughn tries to get out of the inning without further damage. Popped her up. Vaughn will take it herself. Inning over. The Bulldogs get a run. They leave 2 stranded. It's 7-2 Gamecocks. Well, Conky's happy so far. Gamecocks won the first game 7-0. They're leading here in game 2, 7-2 as we move to the bottom half of the 6th. And a new pitcher into the contest for the Bryant University Bulldogs. It'll be Adriana Sanchez. We saw her in game 1, the sophomore from Clyde, Ohio. Went 2 innings in the first game, did not allow a run on just 1 hit. No strikeouts, no walks. And she will face the top of the order, Kenzie Mcguire, the shortstop, to lead things off. Mcguire 0 for 2 with a walk in this game. the inside corner. Ball and a strike. Misses low, 2-1. Mcguire, redshirt junior out of Hudson, Florida. Second team all-conference and all-region last year. Nice bounce back after missing all of 2017 with an injury. Hit in the air to left field. Powell goes back, makes the grab. Right on the warning track for out number 1.
That was a good touch by Bosal, but very well played out there by Powell. Or Mcguire, I'm sorry.
There's Lauren Stewart. Stewart 0 for 2 with a walk. Walked back in the first inning, came around to score. And a big cut. Stewart in the first game today, 2 for 4 with a solo home run. She was a bright spot offensively for the Gamecocks in the weekend series over Kentucky. Hit .500 in the 3 games. Takes one outside.
I don't know how you could look at Stewart and not just think she's a bright spot in general, because every time I see her smile, it makes me want to smile. She's just one of those people, I guess, for me. But when she gets on base, big old grin.
Stewart, as we told you, started her career at Purdue and has really found a home this year in center field. Ruled a strike. Sanchez in the circle. Second time we've seen her today. Too far inside, runs the count full.
That was a nice looking pitch, though. I'm not going to lie. Ugh, the pitcher in me just came out there.
You like the spot, right?
I did. I liked it.
You don't want to put anything in the wheelhouse of Stewart.
No.
Payoff pitch. And that's the third time today she's fouled it off. I think that front foot. Gonna need some extra ice bags after this game.
Well, that just kind of shows you where Bryant has been pitching. They've been coming at her hard on the inside corner. Both games.
Oof.
Ooh. Ooh, that got her in the shin. That wasn't the foot.
Stewart has seen 26 pitches so far in this game. She has worked some counts. And almost half of those, yeah, have gone into her shin, right? Or her foot, or ankle.
And
she's still smiling about
it.
Tough day at the office for Stewart. Sanchez looks in. And the payoff on the way. Up high, she walked her. So the Gamecocks get a base runner here in the 6th with 1 away. Brings up Kennedy Clark. And Clark's already had a good day. Bunt single in the first. Solo home run to lead off the 3rd inning. Was her 5th of the year. A double to lead off the 5th inning. 3 runs scored and a 3-for-3 day. And she'll pop this one up on the left side of the infield. And handled by the 3rd baseman, Bilodeau, for out number 2. So 2 outs, runner at first for Jana Johns, the cleanup hitter. Gamecock sophomore 3rd baseman. He's reached, or it's hit by a pitch last inning. Single through the left side in the 3rd, had a sacrifice fly in the 1st inning. Sends a fly ball into left field. That'll drop in for a base hit. And Jana Johns has her second hit of the game. First and second, 2 outs. Right off the end of the bat.
And that's the second time that I can remember that today that Jana Johns has taken a high outside pitch and pulled it to the left side.
Here's Mackenzie Bosal, the second baseman, 2 for 3 today. A single, a double, 3 RBI. Sends that one down the left field line, but foul. Bosal now with 20 RBI on the season. Ball on the strike now. Sanchez trying to get out of the inning without any damage. Hammers this one deep to right field. Look out, it is gone. And the Gamecocks will walk it off. A 3-run blast from Mackenzie Bosal. And the Gamecocks take game 2 by a score of 10-2 as Bosal goes yard for the 4th time this season. A no-doubter to right field.
South Carolina definitely brought the offense, but you have to give credit to Bryant. They hung in there and they played a good solid ball against South Carolina, but this is what South Carolina needed. They needed to get good touches on the ball. They needed good pitching performances as they head back into SEC play. 6
RBI in the day for Mackenzie Bosal. Kelsey O gets the win for the Gamecocks as South Carolina gets its 20th win of the season, improving to 20-5, while Bryant drops to 1-17. Gamecocks get a sweep on the day, winning 7-0 and 10-2. For our producer Justin Stoll, for Dr. Megan Matthews-Bunning, I'm Brad Muller. Have a great week.